Well, there she is, GTX 4Tech 2003. Definitely been doing some sun tanning. Seats are pretty dry, crack. But the biggest problem I have is A, no pump, and B, no engine. So I had a thought, and I think this is what the plan is going to be. Either to put all of that or that in there and change it to a GTX 2Tech. Don't know if it's possible, but I don't see why not. I have all the parts that we're going to need. I see a couple of issues. The pump bolt's right on. This exhaust has to come out. The two mounts are too far apart from what I can see, and this is on the wrong side, so we're going to have to make some custom bracketry. I'm going to pull all the old wiring harness out. So exhaust comes out, wiring harness comes out. We're going to have to add an oil tank, but there's a spot for it right there. So we can, oil fill. And then we'll have to see what's going on with the gas tank and all that. I don't know what all that looks like, the rectifier there on this machine. I've never messed with a 4Tech before. So I was even thinking of putting the RXDI tank, because it's all set up. If it fits in there, then that's going back in. And the pump, I have gauges. We'll put the these gauges in. So I think the best thing to do right now is strip this sucker down and get it ready for reassembly. I don't know what's going to happen with the buttons. I can get the start-stop to work. There's no trim on this, obviously. I think that's it. Same desk post. Need to put on a buzzer. So should be a good project. I just want to see if we can do it. I think the 4Techs are pretty darn expensive to do rebuilds on them. And when you have old stuff like this, either you send it to the crusher or we do some kind of rebuild. So we like refurbing, not tearing apart. So I say, let's get the exhaust out of this thing and all this venting stuff out and see what we're dealing with. Exhaust coming out. Oh, there's a hole. Perfect. Man, this stuff is all tied up. Get that out of there. Now, what's this? Ooh, there's something that goes through the bottom. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, clearly we got some parts I'm not sure what we're doing with yet. Man, that was stuck on there. Set that there for now. What else is coming out? I guess we'll get all this business out of here. Start fresh. Light falls over again. Wow. Then we got this. That's the coolant. Okay, so that must cool through the ride plate underneath. I guess so. So we can just drain that out and eliminate it. What else we got here? Get them out of the way. They're even reachable. Huh, rusted right through. That is looking pretty good. So our balers are hooked up. I think that's awesome. We got a ton of room. That's going to be a problem. You can see that now. I'm going to have to do some kind of double boot. This one is clearly larger than this one. So we're going to have to, I don't know what we're going to do. Food for thought. And a little bit of wiring removal. 10 mil. How come that doesn't fit on there? There it is. Don't need that. Oh, this is all wrapped around here. Now we got to get up front. Get this sucker out of here. Okay, I guess I gotta yank this vent out first. Get that sucker out of the way so we can have some access. Now you can see what I'm dealing with here. Trying to get this guy out of here. What's holding it? That hose? Rip that friggin' hose out of there. She's going. You'd think that that would just pop out. Like so. But no. Go away. Now maybe. We're getting some progress here. Caught on, what the hell is this? Pipage. Okay, that's free. We're caught on the fuel line down there. What? Did we get it? This is where everything goes That was cool. The guy took the spring off the hood, so the hood won't stay open. The shock. And then I had to knock that off while we were struggling there. Okay, now let's have a look in here and see what we see. I'm not sure if I need to change that gas tank or not. Can I just put the oil in there? And is that the same fuel pump? And it looks like there's a lot of fuel in there, so maybe we'll just energize that fuel pump and see if we can pump that out. That would be sweet. That would save a big amount of work. A big amount of work? A lot of work. There's a free clamp. Vents. Yeah, we're looking good here. Okay, and the computer bracket's got to go. I got a different one for the computer that's going in. And one more bolt that's just hidden away. Can we even see where it is? It's tucked way back there. Oh boy. Gone. Cool. Here's the bracket that has to go back in for the bigger computer. That's going to fit nice. Battery's going to sit right here. Got our fuel lines here. Yeah, we're looking good. Looking good. So I think the next step will be mounting the pump on and figuring this out before we do any bracketry for the motor in case there's some kind of issue. So that is our next step. So we have a couple of issues. The steering, low speed steering bellow is cracked, I found, so I pulled that out. I'm gonna put a new one in before I do anything else at the back there because it's hard to get at it. And I have to mount this little exhaust piece. This the red pipe from the back of the DI rail clips into here along with a water outlet. And it's got to go back there. Now, inside here, there's the exhaust. Pipe I just put in there for now. And we might have to cut off that fitting for the old coolant because we don't need that anymore anyway. But I got to make sure that I got enough room to get that thing in there. So it's a tight squeeze. Might have to cut that, I think. But anyway, we put that on. I also can't use the resonator, this guy here, because it won't fit because of these support brackets right here. So we're doing a resonator delete. Should be a little bit louder. That's just fine by me. Still have the water box over there, so. Okay, let's drill this out. Mount this on. That's one step closer to going for a ride. That's better. We got to get it up to 1 inch. And where's my little Christmas tree bit? There it is. I'm gonna use this bad boy. That sucks drilling that way. Oh, this stupid chuck keeps coming loose on me. Okay, I'd like to get a straight shot at it, but not with that. I gotta get a straight shot at it. Let me find another bit. See if I can push it through. I don't know which side the rubber washer goes on. Probably on the outside, from what I'm seeing here. We got another one. Well, this has a notch, so it won't spin in the hole. So I can't see, this washer's got to be on the outside. And I'm going to have to cut that notch off. I don't know. Now I could put that on the inside and put another one on the outside. Except that is a larger diameter. Let's dry fit this sucker first and then we'll figure all that out. That seems good. Yeah, so I'm going to have to zip tie that, or zip that off. Very tight quarters. See? So the pipe's coming out right there, so I'm going to just zip that sucker right off of there. They might even unscrew, I don't know. Let's see. Some of the stuff is impossible to film, so hopefully you can see I put the muffler piece back on. Top one goes to the vent on the DI rail. This one here goes to the bottom of the water inlet on the air compressor. And this is the exhaust piece that I got to reuse. And hopefully it fits. And I think it will. I'm gonna put some grease on there to hold that. Is grease a good idea? Maybe not. Might screw up that seal. The heck? Okay, let's see if I can get on the outside and get this nut on here. Let's see, that is not threading straight. Some of this stuff is a two-guy job. All right, let's see if we're where we want to be. Oh yeah, that looks good. Or if it has some up and down movement. No, that's as far down as it's going to go because there's that little pin. Okay. Good. Good, good. Pliers. Feels good. Okay. Now I think we can pop the pump on. This is for that assisted steering. Comes out of the top of the pump and goes here, and my pump doesn't have that. We're gonna do a delete on this. Is that the right? No. We'll do a delete for now, and then we'll see if there's any kind of issue with it. I don't know. Okay, that's gone. Now we'll temporarily put the pump in. We don't have to have the bellows in right now. But if we put the pump in, then we can locate the motor. Okay, we're gonna pop this pump in. It's gonna get a once over later on. For now, just to see what we're dealing with. And 4 washers, 4 lock washers. Oh boy. I gotta get the extension. Have a look inside, see if the shaft is sticking out through the bellows. Yes, it is. That's a Fortec bellow. There's definitely more space in there. I am not sure whether that'll leak or not when that goes on there like so. I guess we'll see. But right now, that's what we're going with. How's that centered? Should be okay. Oh yeah, I love it. Still a bit of Loctite on there, that's why that's hard. Thinking everything else is going to work. Yeah, it's tilt there, steering here. Yes. I'm going to hook those two up just to be sure that everything there is working the way it should. And then we'll move on to the next. Reverse check. Oh yeah. Steering's next. And the steering. Good. Let's see if it steers. Guess I can just go like this. Oh yeah. I gotta fix the piece up front, this around the steering, but that's it. So we got tilt, we got steering, or sorry, reverse and steering. So that's all we gotta do back here. Next step will be to mock up the engine cases and see where that goes. The other thing I'd like to do though is get all the hoses in where they got to go so we know what we're dealing with. So maybe I'll do that first and label them like I have here so we know that's going to go over there. Yes, let's do that. Okay, next thing we're going to do, this goes to the water box on the bottom of the engine. Now, I'm going to have a hose coming off that so we can cut that somewhere around there. Quick connect. Huh. I'm going to blow water through, or air through that just to be sure that it's clear. Seems like it's plugged. Where does that come out? Is that plugged? That's way better now. Good. Got to check everything. Oopsie. Confined quarters. Oh, holy jeez. Let's just do this out here. Easier done outside the machine. Okay, I'll zip tie that on, and that's good to go. There we go. See if I can snug that up a bit better. Now we got here, 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 and one down at the bottom. And we got to drill those out too, because they're plugged right now. One thing at a time. A little bit of sorting out here. This one here goes to the underside of the exhaust pipe up front. It's opposite to the other machines. Normally it's over here, but we've got the knockout here. On the outside is where the hose hooks up to run it on the water. So let's tighten that down. Then we got the big one there, and that's the one that has the T on it and goes to multiple different places. So let's find that pipe. And the T, the hose with the T in it. Oh, I guess we should put the clamp on first. And then we got it coming out of here. It's going to be kind of awkward, I think. I don't know. Unless we get some kind of 90 like this. What if I put that on there? Maybe shorten that up. Let's leave that for now. Let's find the two pipes for here and label them. I'm going to drop the exhaust in place, see what happens there. See what kind of fit that's going to be. Let's have a look at the other machine. Just shortening up the exhaust hose a little bit, or the this hose here. Trying to fine tune everything. May require more after. I mean, will. There we go. And then we'll sort this one out after. Exhaust is sitting in there. Gonna have to figure out some kind of mounting because there's no spot for the strap. Obviously it's been torn off or whatever's happened. We'll have to find something for that. So now we got, this goes to the top of the engine. I've got to reduce that down. And these two, one goes to here, and the other one goes to the bottom of the counterbalance, sorry, the magneto cooling piece up at the front. So let's put some hoses on and label them. Something like that. Then one's going to go from here to there. And the top one goes to the top of the exhaust pipe off the engine. I think I need a bigger one. That's on. Kinda. It doesn't look like it's on very good. A little bit of lube. Okay, that one's on. This one here goes up to the T, so we got to get a pipe for that. Something like that. Yeah. That's good. Just wanted to be able to mount that exhaust somehow. Okay, moving on. Now we got to choose what we're going to use for an exhaust. It's got to come out, up, and back. That's turned the wrong way. This one has a nice loop, so that's coming up and going to the back, so that's what we want. Let's test fit this. Stay there. That in there. That will go on there. We just got to cut that sucker. Let's mark it, cut it, see what happens. I'm going to start cutting it there.
stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Quick change of plans. Had to go back to this because it won't fit the housing, of course. So I ran some wires up from inside. I dropped a wiring harness in there for the front. So we've got to hook these up, hook the desk post up. I'm going to change the throttle cable, see if I got a little longer one. And I laid the wiring harness for all the front wiring up inside and just push the connectors on. So there's, I think there's 4 harnesses all together. Let me see. Yeah, 4 harnesses. So I just laid the harness in here. This is the first one. That's where the rectifier goes. That goes into the front of the magneto. This is for the oil level indicator. And I forget what the other one is. And we also have to find the one for the fuel pump. It's one by one, making the connections, putting the shrink, I don't know, it's not called shrink wrap, heat shrink, and shrinking them. I love this stuff. Did a great job. I don't want to burn. And the silicone or whatever's in there, sealant, squeezes out the end too, so that's nice. So I'm going to do the start stop. That was the mode, start stop, and the desk post, and then we're going to mount the computer. Okay, I got everything all buttoned up here. Actually, I got to put the pins in that lock this, the throttle, these guys here. Put those on, put the handlebar grips on. I will recover this afterwards once we get things all dialed in and running. Everything is all soldered up, connected, all in the wiring harness there. So the next thing I want to do is mount the holder for the computer, put the rectifier on, and start assembling some of that. So let's do that. And the computer bracket. So I think I compared it to the bracket. Yeah, we got one screw there and one there, and then we'll drill the other 2. Screw number 1 going in. Well, it's another day in the shop, and we're going to install the oil fill tube and then figure out, I cleaned up the old other oil tank, figure out how to squeeze that in there, which we got room. I'm going to try and live with the same tank. So let me get set up and we'll drill this out with a hole saw and get that installed. And marked it 2 inches over, 2 inches down. Now for a 2 1/4 inch hole saw. Should be just the right size. Might have to do a little grinding out, but we'll make it work. Hopefully there's nothing in my way. Don't think there is. Run her on low. Now I'm going to vacuum that mess up. Well, unfortunately the threads are thicker, so I needed like a 2 3/8. So we're gonna have to do a hole enlargement. Oh, come on, baby. So close. Need some more room. Definitely enlarged it. That's it. Now I just got to mark for these little tabs. And we're good. And they are on the left and right side on this one. I want to use this one because it's got that little vent. Where's the other one? Put a little mark on each end. Now we know where we're going. And we got to cut a hole. Ideally, it would have been better if these grooves were cut out first, but... And again. No. sander. Try and neaten it up a bit. Ah, these things are junk. Everything's junk. Don't know where that little sander piece went, but let's see if that fits. Oh, yeah, hello. Let me just clean that up, and then we'll pop her in. And clean the crud out of it. Hopefully I can get, yeah, I can get the hoses on there. And a washer. Tight space, hopefully you can see. Yeah, now how do I tighten that? I think we're gonna have to go with just hand tight. Look at this, I can't get my hand in here to turn on that angle. If I come around to the other side of the machine, I can just get my hand in there. And that's all. It's pretty tight. I think we're gonna have to live with that because there's no way of getting in there with a wrench. Now, I think maybe I'll put the two hoses on first. The two vent hoses that come off there. And run those to the back. One goes to the throttle body, one goes to the vent underneath the engine. And the throttle body vent goes on top. I don't think it matters. I think this just dumps excess oil back in. There's one. The next one has a reducer on it, so it goes from the larger vent size to the smaller size of this pipe. So that was a special plastic fitting which I had, so that worked out good. And this one goes on the bottom. And then this goes to that vent on the bottom of the air compressor. We'll tie these all up nice after. All doing this from totally in the blind. You can't see anything. And one hand. All right, now what? There's something I forgot to do. Oil. Perfect. What are the chances that the lid closes? Good. Perfect. That is perfect. All right, now comes the fitment of the oil tank. Every once in a while I like to stop and evaluate, make sure I'm not missing anything as we go along. And I realize there's a water outlet right here on the engine. So of course this is upside down. So from there has to go out of, there's an outlet below this cable, which you can't even see, I don't think. You can kind of see it from up here, but it's below the cable down there. And that comes out this hole, that tiny little hole at the very back in there. I don't know if you can see it or not above the bottom mounting bolt. And you see it's plugged. So that's actually capped off, and I have to drill that out because that goes from there to that outlet on the block. So next step is I got to take the drive housing back off, drill that out because I can't reach it from the inside, of course, and put this back on so that we can move forward. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I got to wonder if I can even get the drill in there. And something's going on with this. Why is this pushed out? Maybe? Is there anything you can even see? That's her. And then this will goes up to the engine. So I'm gonna zip tie that sucker, and that's it. Put her back, put the drive back on, and moving forward. And upon further inspection, I just noticed that this steering cable was just hanging here and the nut was hanging out here. And had a look, and it appears that, which is this right here, it had been broken off and the threads were stuck inside. I was able to put a 90-degree pick in there and just spin it out, so it didn't do any damage. But now I need to get another jam nut for that. So not only are we doing this conversion, but we're repairing the machine as we go along. So I don't know if I showed you the final oil tank install. There it is, all sitting in there, ready to be plumbed in and plugged into the harness. Put it on a piece of pressure treated wood to hold it at the elevation that we need it. It's all nice and level now, so that's working good. So now that we've got the oil in and the oil fill, that one wiring harness is installed now. We've got the vent, an outlet for water on this side that plugs into the water box on the bottom of the engine. We've got that exhaust manifold system set up back there. We've got the exhaust system installed, various plumbing items here and there. The next thing that we have to do is replace the fuel pump because this one has a vent. The Fortec one does not. And we've got to put in the gauges, which is another challenge because the wiring harness is not long enough. So we're going to have to do something there. I'm going to have to extend the wiring harness because the computer used to go in the front. Now it goes back here. And then there was one other item that I had to get to. Let me think for a second. Yes, I remember. So the other thing is we got to mount the E-box. That's going to have to squeeze in the back here somewhere. I see I've got a metal bracket there, so maybe we can rig something up there to set it back further. And then we're going to tackle the engine mounts. But on top of all that, as you notice there's no engine. Sorry. So I sold the engine. Now I got to build this engine, clean it all up, and assemble this one. This is the engine that's going to be going into the machine. That one's already all cleaned up now, and or not cleaned up, but all disassembled and checked. Everything is good. So that one will be fine to go in there, but I've got to rebuild that. And engine mounts. So engine mounts I'm going to do last. So I think in the next video we'll do these items here, these 3 items, get that all done, get all the final wiring in, then we'll do the engine mounts. So I think until the next video, Thanks for watching.